old man picked a rose and gave it to the richest prince in town. However, the prince smiled and laughed heartily, thinking that he was surrounded by many beautiful women, and even he himself wore heavy makeup all day long. But today he never expected an ugly old woman to come to his door to offer him a flower. The flowers were beautiful, but the old woman was too ugly. So the prince threw the roses on the ground and told the old man to leave. The angry old man warns him not to judge people by their appearance, but the prince doesn't listen and still tries to get rid of the old man. The next moment, the ugly old man turns into a beautiful fairy and the prince falls to his knees and begs for forgiveness. But the fairy wasn't going to let him go. And since the prince was so fond of appearances, she turned him into an ugly beast. Then she turned the rest of the castle into objects, leaving the prince alone in the castle. And to become a prince again, he had to find someone who truly loved him before the roses wilted. But as time went on, the prince lost all hope. After all, who could love a beast? Until a few years later, when a merchant got lost in the forest and was unlucky enough to run into wolves, he accidentally stumbled into the castle. Inside the castle he found a burning fireplace and a table full of good food. Hungry and cold, he did not care about anything else. He just picked up the bread and ate it. At that moment, the cup of tea on the table automatically moved towards him and spoke. The old man was startled and fled from the castle on horseback. As he passed the white rose garden, the old man suddenly stopped and thought to pick a rose to bring to his daughter. Unbeknownst to him, the owner of the place saw him and arrested him as a thief. Except for the white horse, who was so frightened that he escaped. The white horse escaped from the snow and ice and returned to the season of spring. When the old man's daughter saw the white horse returning alone, she realized that something had happened to her father. So she rode the horse back the same way. She entered the castle with a long stick in her hand and found her father in captivity at the top of the castle. The beast's voice came from above, and the girl had the courage to go up and see what he looked like, but she was shocked by his face. And that was the beginning of a strange relationship between the two. The beast opened the door and asked the girl to make her own choice. The girl didn't hesitate to turn around and hug her father. The father begged his daughter to leave, but the girl pretended to agree and said goodbye to her father as she pushed him out of the cell and quickly closed the door. Seeing the girl's choice, the beast taunts the girl for being so stupid and drags her father out of the castle.